What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Price Targets with your host, Bitcoin Jack. Been a bit under the weather for the last couple of days. COVID may be around again. I decided I'm not going to be testing again, but there's been a few people around me who were sick, and so I did feel quite a little bit the same. I hope you guys have been good. I hope you've been having a good weekend. It's Tuesday by now, so a lot of things have been happening. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin. We're going to be looking at ETH. I think something happened there on our setup. We're going to be looking at Luna. Obviously, that's the thing everyone's talking about. And then I want to talk about Syscoin. There's some cool things going on there. And I think that's the four places we're going to be looking at today. Thursday, I want to look at the macro a little bit again. Maybe I'm going to wait for that until next week when the new inflation prints come out, and there's some other stuff happening this week that will be important for the macro. Sailor-Bod, on another note, he kind of leveraged his Bitcoin to get another loan to buy more Bitcoin. So obviously either he's going to end up being a genius or everyone's going to be laughing at him. But, seriously, for now, it really seems that when you think about it, like most of his loans are, cannot be liquidated yet. He's got enough cash and a long enough time horizon. So I think literally Bitcoin could go to, $100 and back to $100,000 without him being liquidated, unless obviously he gets more leverage and shorter term loans. So let's see. First, big shout out to Prime XBT, the sponsor of this video. And if you sign up using the ref link in the description and in the watermark, you can get 0.5 BTC deposit bonus if you use the promo code Bitcoin Jack. So thank you very much for doing that, Prime XBT. There's some conditions that apply, so make sure you check that out before any confusion appears. But awesome, thank you. And if you appreciate these videos, consider going there, check it out, see if you like it. Let me know if you like it, and if there's anything they can do better to improve your experience there. Sip of coffee. So, Bitcoin, this is pretty much the chart where we left it last week. We talked about the importance of this previous liquidity gap in the orange. Bitcoin traded through it, retested the trend line here. So for now, this is a bullish impulse back into our key level that we lined out, that we kind of deviated on. I do think that this is going to trade into the next orange box if we can actually get past and above this key level here. So for now, to me, and that's how I'm going to play it. I'm going to explain a little bit how I'm going to play it, not completely explain it, but a little bit of the thought process here. This here, for now, it's kind of a deviation on an invisible range. Maybe this is the range now. And it kind of held above it for a couple of days with the wicks, etc. Now it's retesting it for the third time from below. If this gets rejected here over the next couple of days, then I do think Bitcoin is in trouble, and that this retest here of the orange zone is not going to hold. That would be, there's a lot of, there's no euphoria yet, obviously. There's not a lot of positive funding yet, but there's a lot of trust being put into the Do Kwon buying and into Sailor at the moment. So if this gets rejected, it's going to get ugly, and I do think it's going to retest 40 then. So let's see if we can get a little bit of a different view here. So yeah, this is actually pretty clean when you look at it at the 6 hour. See kind of like initial supply here after this large impulse, kind of stayed above it here, a sawed off 2 tests up here, and now it's retesting again. So basically, where is this wrong? Well, probably, A, got a bit of a trend line here. So that's one guideline. Then the other guideline is this line here. So I would say probably a daily close above that is gonna high, and then stops above here. If you want to play it wider, stop above here. And then where does that trade to? If that gets rejected, it probably trades into the 40k level. There's a bunch of wicks here that I assume would be targeted then. So then you got to retest at the level. All right, here. That makes sense. So this is around 40. You could maybe drag this down here, down here. Anywhere in this area would then probably be the target. So that's, the original. I think we had a squiggly last week that looked something like this, that if you come down here, and then if you lose this, we trade down there. So, same thoughts as last week for a rejection scenario. And then the other thing we need to be looking at is the upside. Where are we wrong if price trades upwards, and where does price trade to if it goes up? I do think into the orange box, which is a leftover liquidity zone. And where are we wrong? Well, if you want to be aggressive about it, then we can draw a little range low here on this retest here on pretty much all those highs on the left here. And then this kind of is the deviation / the trap that traded this upwards. So you want to, if you trade below here, you're probably wrong, but there's a possibility that you go for the wicks. But if you trade below here, kind of makes me feel that, that's a good place to say you're wrong. It's probably trading below this trend line then again as well. So for me, go back to the daily. This low on April 1st is your stop, and then target is here. And I probably wait for the breakout trade where we kind of do really get acceptance above like 47 and a half, and then we trade into 52, 53. If that makes sense. If I skipped or missed anything, I'm really sorry about that, but I think I did a pretty good job explaining my thoughts there. Ooh, so we were talking about ETH. Oh, wait. Okay, so if you want to be, one more thing. If you want to be aggressive on the short side, this is where, pretty much get in, because your invalidation is up there. But I do think I already said that. ETH BTC. Last week, we were talking about if price goes through here, but not as high, and kind of like dabbles here and then comes back down, it's probably a good opportunity to get long down here. And then we had the little scenario where we would go above the wick here and dabble around it. So that's kind of what's happening now. I do think there's, a short opportunity here if you want to be aggressive and early. Let me get rid of the squigglies. bam, bam. We're still above it, so there's no real reason to kind of fake this. But if you want to be aggressive about it, this is, where you want to do it. Personally, I would like to wait and kind of see this situation happening where it trades back down here, kind of loses it, and then trade it down into the 0.065 region. If it trades down here, kind of holds here, this is also where you probably cover and go long with a stop below it and target this. So there's just probability trades there. But if this starts selling off and losing levels, that's probably where I will also want to start looking for shorts. Then. So Luna, it's kind of, do we have the squiggly from last week? Yeah, so this was a squiggly last week. If we would lose the daily level here, close below it, then we would be trading it into 0.0016, and then the other squiggly up here. So this is this is pretty clean, right? In my opinion, come back down here, long it, and then probably get another long opportunity. If this bounces back, okay, so we got this here. There's two plays here. I think there's you can go long here, and then you're wrong if it comes back down there. And then what you could do is wait for price to get out of this zone, so up here, and then retest this horizontal level, and then get long. Personally, I'd probably just long it here, and just watch it. And then if it goes out of this range, also add on this retest. So small play here, and then add here, pretty nice average. And then the question is, where do we long it to? If this is like a full impulse, and that's the bottom of it, probably start with, something like that. So kind of difficult area where we could see a rejection up here at the 0.0027 area. If it managed to claim through that, I do think it's going to, we're going to go to 0.03, 0.0034 up here. Hope that makes sense, because, I want to make some money. Not a sip of coffee, and I've been yammering about for 30 minutes, so maybe one more, like we said at the start. Sys, I always look at this chart and then I get confused, like, especially if you grab the log chart, how this is not entirely dead yet. And then obviously I get reminded by people that it's an OG coin that from time to time has some pretty innovative stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure they kind of started like the whole bridge technology stuff that everyone else then started using a year ago. And now they're doing all kinds of cool things. I haven't, been reading all the way into it yet, but when people around me are talking about it, that's when I'm, think I should be interested. And, if you've been trading through like 17, 18, and you saw these kind of charts where it just like goes down, goes sideways for a long time, and then it pops, you just want to pay attention. I remember trading like, holy shit. Well, I'm so sorry. Trading XLM as like back in the day against BTC, it was like super similar chart, and then it just went all the way to go match like previous highs or very close to it. I think this chart could do something very similar. That's like, let's see, from here on out, that's like a 4x. If it does go all the way there. So then the question is like, how do we play it? Where are we wrong? But this is like a monthly level, and it's below it. Kind of don't like that. I want that thing to get above it. But just as we like previously discussed, is like when you have a range like this, it's not uncommon to like do the rangey thing and then go above it, retest it, and then get below it. This is like this is where things can go two ways. But if it does reclaim the range again, that's where you want to get long. Where you want to get short is when it kind of dips back into the range, so which basically like this, which makes it kind of a shitty kind of place to trade, because this retest of this trend line or this horizontal, could also mean that it's going to go back to the range low, which kind of sucks if that would happen if you're long. So for me, what I want to see is price go above the 0.00015 quadruple zero. Sorry, 4,000. No, above 5,000 sats. So that would be a very clean trigger to target like 3,700, because then we're going to fill this entire void. Kind of already did it a little bit, but it didn't go all the way to retest the low of March 2018. So I kind of want to see that. The other, kind of other scenario I'm looking at to go long would be if kind of trades lower into this zone here. Maybe not all the way down to 760 sats. Could maybe, get stuck on the low of November 2018. Which exactly aligns with my squiggle. But that means that, this has to go 50% down. I don't know if there's a lot of hype around it right now. Is it going to do that? Maybe if Bitcoin shits the bed, like badly. Anyways, this is a weekly chart. Doesn't really make sense to pay attention to that because we want to look here. So if I want to get some exposure and try and see if I can get a short time frame set up into the levels we just discussed before, I'd probably say we got to get ourselves a stop. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 tests of resistance. And then let's see if we can kind of define a range here. Okay, so we say this is a range. Like that. So this retest is the retest of the range low. And then this is the range high. Then this is the deviation, and I want to have that respected, so stop goes below there. Right? Let's make that red. So it kind of depends. Like you could literally just place a few bids in this range and then put your stop here, and then just hope for the best that this is gonna go here, here, and then maybe add some on the way up. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking at for Syscoin. I just don't like getting long inside the range, but sometimes when you have a plan, it's not that bad. And then, you know, I'm a little bit scared, but that would be like super boring and not that volatile, is that this is just gonna create this wedge for a long time and then just leave. But like short term, small position play would be to low risk play. Sorry, would be to kind of seek an opportunity in here, and then obviously this is going to be wrong when this loses kind of this trend line and this level here, and then it's going to trade, you know, probably at least back into this zone. If that happens, just gonna get patient. But I do think that this, you know, eventually is gonna follow the squiggly here. That makes sense. Okay, so I hope that was 22 minutes well spent, and you guys enjoyed that. If you enjoyed that, leave a like, subscribe if you like it, and check out Prime. Let me know what you thought on Twitter, because that always helps me. And until Thursday, peace.